In this video, I wanted to do something a little different from normal and take you back through my history of growing up with Rockstar Games. My first experience of a Rockstar game was in the late 90s in the awning of a caravan on a rainy day in the English countryside. I was watching someone play this weird top-down view game, and the only thing I can remember about it was that the cars were fast and fun to drive. At that time, my main game was James Bond GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64, so seeing a game with this view felt really weird to me as a little 7-ish year old. So in terms of early GTA games, this is pretty much my only experience from the 90s. The next time I saw a Rockstar game was in the early 2000s. It was Smuggler's Run. I used to play this game around a friend's house, and I remember it being so fun. Driving off-road buggies really fast over fields was really new to me. I was used to playing Gran Turismo, but the game after this was the real big one for me. I was around my mate Dan's house, sat in his room, watching him play this amazing game where we ran around, shooting people, driving cars, and seemed to have so much freedom. At this time, I was really used to games with really focused levels and limited freedom, and with Vice City, you could go wherever you wanted and had so many different guns and cars to choose from. The cars in the game looked quality too. The Infernus and the Cheetah were my absolute go-tos. And this was when I first fell in love with a Rockstar game. We'd take it in turns trying to get as many wanted stars and survive for as long as possible. I'm sure this is something all of you did too, and it's always been one of the most fun parts of Grand Theft Auto games. At this point though, I still didn't actually own GTA, so at some point I asked my mum if I could get Vice City. You know, the game where you can gun down pedestrians and pick up prostitutes? Perfect for a 10-year-old. Well, I don't know if she discussed it with my dad and they agreed, or she just had no clue what the game was about, but that Christmas I opened up a present and it was a double pack, Vice City and Grand Theft Auto 3. If we're being honest, the likelihood is she had no idea what she was buying for me. But looking back now, I'm so glad she did it. I played GTA 3 quite a bit, but Vice City was the one that I completed and played over and over again. It actually got to the point where I'd learned the soundtrack so well that I remember my parents questioning how I knew these banging 80s tunes. The next stop on my Rockstar journey was with the biggest anthem of the whole GTA series. Again, the first time I played this was around a mate's house. The freedom I mentioned before got massively increased with this one. Planes, helicopters, and a fucking jetpack. When I eventually got a copy of the game myself, I played it like mad, even more than Vice City. I knew Grove Street like my actual real-life neighbourhood, and I probably would have taken a bullet for CJ and the lads. There were so many parts of this game that I've wanted to see brought back. Going to the gym, making yourself a unit, or eating until you're as fat as you possibly can be in Clucking Bell. It's little details like this that make Grand Theft Auto games so good, and San Andreas was a masterpiece. My next Rockstar game took another detour from the norm of GTA games, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition for the PSP. I remember enjoying this game a lot, and the standout for me was how good I made my Chrysler 300 look in Arctic White. But what rolled around shortly after this was GTA 4. This is a really interesting one for me because I remember really enjoying the game, but it didn't grip me in the same way that other GTAs had done in the past. But this was the first time I played GTA online, and I had such a good time playing online with my mates. Although there wasn't loads to do, we absolutely made the most of it, and the social side of GTA 4 was the real thing that I remember about this game online. And now it's 2010, and somehow a game pulls me away from my obsession with Call of Duty. Following GTA 4, Red Dead really reminded me of how much I love what Rockstar creates. I would spend hours outside of the storyline just hunting near Armadillo. I'd like to say it was chilled, but the amount of times that I got shredded by a cougar was mad. I played Undead Nightmare 2 for a while, but it was Red Dead itself that gripped me, just like Vice City had done all those years ago. I developed such a love for John Marston and all the characters in that game. So over 3 years passes, and the upcoming release is the first GTA game on the list that I was actually legally allowed to buy on my own, and I made the most of it. In my third year of uni, me and two mates left our house and walked into town for the midnight release of what would be one of my favourite games of all time. This game pushed the boundaries even further than I thought was possible for a GTA game. Not only did they make 3 playable characters, they developed them in a way that actually makes you care about each one. Franklin, Michael and Trevor have left their mark deep in my soul. I remember me and the two mates that I mentioned, we set our consoles and our TVs up in the living room and just played for like a week straight. It was actually the week before my term time started, so I had so much free time, and my target that week was to 100% complete the game, which I managed. Having that amount of spare time is something that I genuinely really miss. Creating a game with a gripping story alongside a hugely detailed, interactive world is what sets Rockstar apart with their games. They've set the threshold so high for their story modes, so when this next game got announced, I had huge hopes and they didn't let me down. This was another game I got at midnight, but this time I had already downloaded it prior to the release and was sat there waiting for it to hit 12 AM. You don't need to stand in a queue waiting for it anymore. Times have changed. This game is the most visually stunning game I've ever played, and again, Rockstar smashed it with this title with an incredible story. The sequences where you're riding from one point to the next for a mission, and out of nowhere some deep music starts playing. That's pure feels, mate. Capital F. But then you've got missions where you're building a house or getting pissed up with Lenny. The contrast between light, comedic scenes and deep, emotional moments is what makes this game such a roller coaster. And I loved every single minute of that story mode. So on that note, until the next game, here marks the end of my Rockstar journey. In a vlogger style from 2012, I'd like to tag Pineapple and Hazard in this video. So lads, let me know your Rockstar history, and maybe you two could tag a couple of people that you'd like to see make a video like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'm JmCooKie. Cheers.